referred to a bit smirkingly as this little ladybug of a thing among sports car purists. Not anymore. This third generation gets an awful lot of things right and puts an edge on the product, technologically, on the road, and to the eye. Let's drive this all-new 2016 third generation TT Roadster and check the ticket.
Audi was kind of sneaky with this one. Back in January of 2014, we got an early look at what would be the style of the new TT, but it was in a concept mini electric station wagon. The front clip, though, arrived almost unchanged on this new car, and I gotta say, it's the handsomest TT yet in 3 generations. And unlike a lot of complete generation updates, this one's dimensions don't meaningfully change anywhere. Length, width, height, even weight, all about the same as the outgoing car. We have a Roadster with the cloth top. There's also a coupe that has some little tiny back seats in there. Our car, instead, where the back seats would go, is where the top does go. That coupe, by the way, can also be had as a hotter performance TTS. The Roadster doesn't come that way. Your first reaction when you get in the new TT is, where did everything go? It looks like we're back in the 60s. It's a blank dash with some vents. That's because the star of the show is the virtual cockpit over there in front of the driver. That's a 12.3-inch virtual all-LCD instrument panel. The gauges are virtual, and they can either be full front and center like you see, or with a click of a button, they move backstage, and you can go full map, for example. Pretty impressive. Driving all this is a quad-core NVIDIA GPU. And they've added a couple of new interesting buttons on the wheel. Those get you into submenus. Now, one of the first things your passengers are going to say is, wait a minute, where's my ability to control stuff? You actually can see that screen pretty well from here, but it's far from optimal. This is clearly not a car where the passenger is supposed to be fussing with stuff, but instead hanging on for dear life. And of course, you've got your MMI controls down here, excellent voice command, touchpad on top of the knob. This is all pretty standard Audi stuff, as is the 4G LTE connection that powers all this, including an excellent online search and the ability to go photorealistic on the maps at certain elevation levels. The other interesting part of cabin craft Audi has done here is to get rid of your traditional bank of HVAC controls and instead embed everything in the knobs on the vents. 5 vents, 5 knobs. The outer ones control your seat climate and heating, and these center ones handle temperature and fan and airflow direction. It's super clear, fast to use, nice system. And blessedly, Audi's dumped the MDI, the proprietary multi-device interface, and now uses good old USB. A 16 TT is powered by a 2-liter inline-4. It's turbocharged and direct injected, of course. 220 horse, that's up 9 from last year. 258 pound-feet of torque, that's the same as last year. One choice of a gearbox in the US, a 6-speed dual-clutch automated manual. No 6-speed manual available here, and all-wheel drive, quattro, of course. 0 to 60 happens in 5.6 seconds, slightly quicker if you get the coupe, faster still if you get the coupe TTS. Our car weighs about 3,400 pounds, including that ragtop mechanism. Does about 26 average, 30 on the highway.
Underway, 3 words in this new TT: light, bright, and tight. That's what it feels like in terms of powertrain, in terms of openness, and in terms of perceived weight on the ground. A lot of that light perception is from power that comes on with almost no turbo lag. I really have to salute them for doing a really good job on that, especially when it's a 2-liter 4 that is sitting under that turbo. So there's not a lot to fall back on, but the power, it comes on very effortlessly. And when it does come on, it flows into one of the fastest dual-clutch gearboxes out there. Now, we've experienced this gearbox before, and it is a good one. But what's so great about it are the lightning-fast shifts when you press it, and the extremely good table manners when you don't. We've seen Audi Drive Select before. This, I believe, is the first time when it can also affect the logic of the quattro all-wheel drive system. For example, in dynamic mode, which is sport mode, it can tell the quattro system to behave with a bias toward the rear wheels by default. One of my favorite engineering accomplishments you can't see, and that is this sort of invisible tub that I'm sitting in, formed by the windshield, the header, and this power wind buffer behind me. When that's up and everything else is up around me, but top's all the way down, you've got a very isolated, beautifully climate-controlled scenario inside of here. Oh, it's augmented by these little neck heaters back here on these optional sports seats. They blow warm air over your neck. Bottom line is, you're going to love fall evenings on the road, top down in this car.
The top goes up and down quickly, about 10 seconds either direction. And trunk space doesn't vary. It remains smallish no matter where the top is, but at least you know what to expect. We're going to start about $46,400 for a TT Roadster. By the time I add some tech, those nice neck heating seats, and a surprisingly affordable B&O audio option, I'm somewhere in the low 52 range. The cabin tech is hard to beat on this car, though your passenger may say otherwise. The ride handling and the power and the delivery and the whole light, bright, tight way it drives are outstanding. I love the looks now. There's not much to dislike about the new TT.
More cars driven CNET style. Standing by now at cnetoncars.com. Click on the road.